Joining us tonight here from Washington, my congressional source is Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia. He's a member of the Senate Armed Services and Foreign Relations Committees. Senator, so thank you for being here. I mean, you just heard how Rahm Emanuel and Brett McGurk laid this out in terms of the dynamics that are actually shifting behind the scenes, which seems to be saying a lot more than maybe the headlines do. What do you make of what's played out in the last 24 hours? Do you think that the United States is in a better position right now?
Well, look, I want the ceasefire to hold. I want it to be extended. I want it to be permanent. But the fact that the U.S. is now negotiating to reopen the Straits of Hormuz, it was open before the war. The U.S. is trying to get a negotiation done to control Iran's nuclear program. It was controlled under the Obama administration until President Trump tore up a diplomatic deal. And many of us told him at the time, if you make diplomacy impossible, you will make war inevitable. And so now U.S. troops are dying, others are being injured, civilians are being injured, and now we're trying to have a negotiation to return to a status quo that we had with diplomacy. This is not only an illegal war, it's an incredibly foolish one. And I've got Virginians paying $1 more at the pump every time they get a gallon of gas. We buy 8 million gallons of gas a day in Virginia. That's $8 million a day that we are spending that we weren't before this war. And that's happening all over the United States and all over the world. So look, I'm glad they're negotiating. They've gone in and destroyed all the china in the china shop, and now they're talking with the owner of the shop about, well, maybe we should talk about how to put it back together. You shouldn't have destroyed it without a plan to begin with.
When it comes to I mean, you said that you want the ceasefire to be permanent in terms of what they're negotiating. I mean, the reality is this war has happened. This is underway. What do you think that those terms should look like if the U.S. and Iran do come to an agreement?
Well, it's happened and it's underway, but I don't want more Virginians to be deployed in an illegal and an unwise war. These carrier strike groups that are being sent over one after the next, hundreds and then thousands, include an awful lot of Virginians. And I've got their families asking me, why are we doing this? What's the rationale? When the sailors on the Ford going to come home? It just passed the longest deployment in the history of the United States. They were supposed to be home by Christmas. They're still over there. What should we do? We should negotiate to keep the strait open and keep the ceasefire going. I don't know what Iran wants in this. What we want is we want them to make the same pledge that they did make in 2016, that they would never seek to acquire or develop nuclear weapons. They made that pledge, and then the U.S. tore up the deal. We want them to make the pledge again, and I'm sure they're going to say, okay, then what are you going to do to rebuild the civilian infrastructure that you've bombed, and what are you going to do to compensate the nation after you've assassinated our leadership and you've killed civilians? They're going to have some asks. I don't know what their asks are going to be, but I'm hoping that having people around the table can get us to a chapter where this is not just another endless war in the Middle East, which we foolishly engaged in for 25 years. And nobody that I know of in Virginia, a very pro-military state, thinks more war in the Middle East is a good idea.
You've called this an illegal war twice now, maybe 3 times. For the 4th time this year, the Senate has now rejected your attempt to limit the president's war powers when it comes to Iran. What do you think is the message from that tonight?
Well, look, we're gonna try it every week. Yeah, I have led the challenge. I'm not trying to limit the president's war powers. I'm trying to enforce the Constitution. And the Constitution says you are not at war unless Congress votes to go to war. And the president is calling this a war over and over again. We can't spend money on child care and Medicaid and Medicare because of all the wars we're fighting. You are not allowed to go to war without a vote of Congress. The president wants to end-run Congress and do it on his own, punishing the American military and our economy on his own. I'm going to keep forcing a vote every week until my colleagues finally listen to their constituents and stop this deeply unpopular war. When you don't get allies on board, when you don't have a clear rationale, when you don't have a plan, and we don't explain it to the American people, guess what? The war's unpopular. And we're going to have this vote every week until we end this war, and we'll make darn sure that people know who owns this war.
You know, Ambassador Emanuel just mentioned the other part of this, which is they're trying to get a ceasefire in Lebanon to get Israel to stop. I mean, that would be a big deal, obviously, if the United States does constrain Israel or
Yes.
gets them to stop in that way. Bernie Sanders just put out a statement tonight because his resolution to block arms sales to Israel, some of them, it's failed again in the Senate, but it has more support from more Democrats than other resolutions that he tried to pass recently. Why do you think more of your fellow Democrats are now saying we're not going to vote to send some of these weapons to Israel? Why do you think they've changed their minds?
Yeah, so I took a position beginning in February of 2024. We should provide defensive weapons to Israel so they can protect their civilians, but we should not provide offensive weapons that kill other civilians in Gaza or Lebanon or elsewhere. We had a first vote on this, Kaitlan, in November of 2024, and we got 17 votes. We've had subsequent votes that got 20 and 27, and now we're up to 40. And what this is showing is, while Israel has been a security partner in the United States, and we are more invested in their defense than any other ally they have, we are very, very tired of them using U.S. weapons to carry out offensive operations that lead to mass civilian deaths. And that's why we've grown from 17 votes to 40 votes, because of people really, really worried about the scale of civilian deaths. It was just announced, this is a good thing, the United States got Israel and Lebanon to sit down at a negotiating table, and the headline was, for the first time in decades. Israel and Lebanon are next door neighbors, and they have to be able to manage their own relationships. And the fact that they have not even been willing to have discussions for decades, that should ring an alarm bell. The U.S. can't be a guarantor all around the world. Neighbors have to learn how to get along with one another without expecting the United States to just come in and provide bombs and bulldozers.
Senator Tim Kaine, thank you for joining us tonight.
Absolutely.